One thing I've learned about Bitcoin is that the worst thing you can do is freak out or be afraid of missing out. FOMO. You'll pay a lot of money for those two things. Well, CZ Binance has been busier in the crypto world lately, which is great. I also have a lot of other cool news to share with you today, but first I want to do something fun and silly. This was just tweeted by CZ Binance to make fun of Gary Gensler and let people know that crypto is still around. Even though the SEC worked hard to shut down this business, we are still here. When the markets are really down, like today, this is very important to remember. If you ask me, I'll tell you why this is happening and what you can do about it. I'm not going to give you financial help because of it. Yes, I will really talk about what I think is going on here. Also, remember that things are still pretty good compared to how they were before Trump was elected. Let's begin. A few months ago, there were many wonderful changes. Prices are going down because of problems with trading all over the country, so it's important to keep an eye on these changes. But changes like the SEC dropping its case against Binance, Coinbase, and many other crypto companies let us move forward very quickly. The court case that lasted 2 years is over, now that both the SEC and Binance agreed to the terms of the deal. For now, this is where the court papers are. In other words, the crypto fight is pretty much over. This is really amazing. We've been looking forward to this for a very long time. Indeed, this is a reason to rejoice, and it's also very exciting. It costs money for crypto companies to hire more people as they grow. This helps them run their businesses better. It will now be much easier to do all of these things in the United States. I know the price is going to drop right now. Oh my God, that's awful. People are interested in trade wars, China, and other similar topics, but you need to pay attention to what's going on here because that's what's making this happen. But we'll talk about that soon. Is this what we see now? The US wants to put more limits on China and go after its companies more. This comes after the news I talked about in my video a few days ago. Trump's taxes are being fought in US courts. This has been really bad for the markets right now. It's because politicians from all sides are trying to bring each other down. It doesn't matter what party you guys are in, Republican, Democrat, or something else. In fact, that's the case right now. A fight between politicians is bad for the markets. The S&P 500 is not good for XRP. There are two groups that each believe in a different answer. Investors don't like it when there's no clear progress, and this isn't growth. People in a country get this when they can't decide what to do or how to handle a situation. Getting money. We really want things to get better. It's clear that investors want interest rates to go down, but no one knows it. We want growth, money to come in, cash, and interest rates to go down. What's going to happen with this right now? There are a lot of questions, but that doesn't mean I'm just sitting there and doing nothing. Don't worry about this little red cell. Okay, at the blackjack table in Las Vegas, I did this for a funny movie. My friends were betting 75x. Long was opened up on how funny. That's what the sell is, but it has nothing to do with the rest of my orders. Okay, so there's no link between the two. I've been buying that every day, which is pretty much what you read. I've been shopping like crazy. This is true for a number of reasons. First, every time Trump has had one of these big days, there have been trade wars, market volatility, higher taxes, and other similar things. This is why the price of one thing dropped a lot and then shot up very quickly after. That's what we're looking at right now. I think that will probably happen again. This is another reason why I'm buying all of these drops and selling futures on them. Since I've been doing this for so long, why am I up about 300% in the last 2 months? We can see that the S&P 500 is losing more quickly, and even more now that things are getting worse with China. At this point, at least 5 times we've seen this happen. It's likely the 5th time this has happened. Please look at this chart. We went up here in January, and there was a big drop because of the trade wars. We came back up here, which was a mistake, and we went up again, which was a correction. These things happen over and over again, like a clock. What would you know if you always bought when the stochastic RSI showed that we were oversold like right now? Yes, you'll be 300% richer in 2 months, just like I am. Also listen up, I talk about all of that in my chat every time I make a deal. You can see all of my trade history from the last 6 months for free. All you have to do is go to my site, do that, it's free to get in. It only takes 10 minutes to sign up and you get a free full membership, plus get these great extras. New customers at BitX can get a crazy 10% deposit bonus, a lot of money off of trade fees, and free stuff worth up to $5,500 USDT. If you put $100,000 on BitX, you get an extra $10,000 in tax breaks. To get this bonus, you'll need to trade for a very long time. Plus, you get all these other benefits. You don't have to put real money down. You have to be crazy for them to let you enter a coin and still give you this bonus. They are now one of my program's partners. Remember that, but this is how I trade. I trade on BitX, which is why I work with them. That is the first one. First, you need to sign up. Next, you need to make a payment. Step 3, put your email address and exchange user ID into this form. What do you think? This is it. You can now join my Discord. It's very easy. You can get your money whenever you want, and it's free. That is how it works. So the US is going to make it harder for Chinese tech companies with US subsidiaries to do business. Why is the US focused on this and making it harder for them to do business? The Chinese government found a way to avoid paying taxes, which is why it's clear that the Trump administration doesn't like that. They are now going to make the ban stricter so that they can't get around these taxes by looking for small holes. They're going after companies in other nations that aren't doing anything wrong. They don't live in mainland China but still do business there to avoid taxes. It was the right thing for China to not pay for this stuff. No longer is that possible with any of China's companies, even if their main office is in China or their owners are in China. But this is going to be really hard. That's the first thing that came to mind. China will do everything to hide their tracks, which means the government will have to work hard to catch them. But this isn't really that different from other trade wars, right? That's how things work. Of course, this has made crypto very much less valuable. This morning, more than 210 million were sold in just 1 hour. A lot more liquidations are expected to happen. Listen, I think it's possible because of this news that things could turn around. So I'm ready with a bunch of get-ready orders for the way down. You can use those trades for free. The last time I was able to buy these dips at this level, I made a crazy amount of money. I was up 400% in 1 month. Get back into crypto. Crusaders will tell you that over and over until you do something. Also, it's free, and I can see all of my trades. Everything you need is right there, and it's all very clear. There's also a lot of really cool stuff going on here. JP Morgan says that the changes that were made to Ethereum have not made the network busier. Yes, the world we live in now is very interesting. The big banks are after cryptocurrencies, which, let's be honest, is fair. Ethereum is one of them, leaving SIPT open anyway. Let's move on from the crazy trade war is still going on and probably will continue for the rest of the year. To be honest, it could happen every year for the next 4 years. We'll see. There is a lot of uncertainty about that, and we don't know how many rate cuts are planned.